Hi everyone, I'm George Rouse from Archery Learning Center, and today I'm going to show you how to set up your hunting sight with a UV3 XL and HHA Tetra Max. HHA Tetra Max. Okay. So pretty good hunting sight. They sell them at ULTRAVIEW, so you're going to want one. Comes out of the box kind of looking like this right here. And you'll get an extra accessory head that allows you to bolt the ULTRAVIEW scope directly to, and it just slides right in. So I'll show you how to do that. But first, let me get this out of the box and open this up. That's one thing ULTRAVIEW has got. I love the packaging. Throw this away. All right. Here it is right here. Ooh, okay. So the model that we have here is the 2-pin version. So that way I can use the top pin to sight in all of my distance that corresponds with whatever distances is on the dial. The dial on the HHA looks like that. The dial looks like that. When you rotate, it changes yardage. Okay. So then I set up the top pin, the green one, I set that up to be accurate to whatever distances are showing on the dial. Then I figure out where does that red pin land, on the target. And on my hunting bow, it lands at about 36 or so yards. So if I have the sight on 20 and something comes out in between 20 and 36 yards, in a pinch, I can use the gap in between those two dots to make sure that I can get a quick shot off without having to stop and make that adjustment on the sight. So here we go. First things first, let me turn this off. Let's go inside the little pack here and see what all we got in here. Inside the pack, extra levels, mounting screw, some extra little locking screws for the side right there. And we got extra batteries. We have the World Archery cover. You're not going to be concerned with that for hunting, but you can't use this cover for, you can't use the light for any USA Archery or World Archery kind of competitions. So we install this little cover here to just take the place of the light cartridge that's on there. And they're super easy just to pop out and stick in. It's not a big deal. And then the all ever-present instruction sheet. Read your instructions. Okay. All right. Wait, that's the side with the instructions on it right there. Read the instructions. Okay. So I need to take it apart, because they ship it to you kind of assembled. And let's see, look at that. I picked the right Allen wrench the first time. That hardly ever happens. I've been in archery my entire life, and the one thing that I haven't mastered is picking the right Allen wrench the first time. Let me continue. You just take the cartridge out. Take the cartridge out that is holding your pins, and what that does is it exposes the hole right there for mounting. So that makes mounting pretty easy. So I'll take the little mounting screw. I'm going to use the mounting screw that came with the HHA just to be sure that we're all the correct thread and all that. Let's see here. Is that the right size? Nope. Yeah, there we go. All right, so this is the attachment piece. I just took that screw out of that spot right there, and it's going to be facing me right here. So you'll notice this piece here. Let me tell you this part. Let me get this extras out of the way here, because you don't need to, those don't need to be crowding the frame here. But notice this part. You see how it mounts this way inside the HHA, which holds this to the left. So depending on how big your scope is or what your scope diameter, if you're using one of the bows that this piece here slots into the riser and you're not using the bracket on the outside of the riser, you'll have to flip this over and then turn this over to set it to the right so you get just a little bit more offset for adjusting your left and right. And that'll be clear, you know, once you get it on your bow. But we've got a standard setup using the mounting block, so we're just going to use this just as it is, right? And I am going to get my little screw and I'm going to put it in the hole here. Right there, so I got a little bit of thread sticking out right there. Then I'm going to get this ready. Make sure that I'm orienting this right-handed, because I make that mistake a time or two. Run my Allen wrench through the outside hole so that I have access. I will tighten that puppy down just like that. And I'm going to take, I'm not going to break the Allen wrench off in this trying to make it tight, but I am going to snug it down just to make sure that it's not loose enough to where it could eventually rattle free. So now I've got it installed. That was easy, right? And then I will stick my cartridge back in, snug the screws down, make sure those are good and in place. Snug that one down. Oops, they're kind of small. I'm going to get that on there, put it on the hole, and then I'll tighten that one down too. So that'll keep that in there, keep it secure, right? And then the next thing, to mount this onto the HHA, I'm just going to slide this in this slot right here, just like so, and then tighten these two screws down. Now, when you sight this in, normally what I like to do on range adjustable sights is I will max the sight out to its fullest height. Then as I'm doing my initial rough sight in, I will slide this up and down the bar until this is dead on at 20. And the reason for that is I can go to a 20-yard sight setting without looking at it. I can just reach up to the bow and just max that out that way, and I know my sight's good for 20, and I know my second pin is on 36, 38, so I know that I'm good for anything in that normal bow hunting range that we'll see in Georgia. The average shot in Georgia, years ago they did a study, the average bow shot in Georgia was like 11, 12 yards, and it's basically because it's so thick you can't see the deer unless it's 11 or 12 yards away. And you know, we all know the real flex in bow hunting is how close they were when you shot them, not how far away. So I set this up so that it's maxed out, boom, at 20, and I'll slide that up and down on the bracket until it's dead on at 20, and then that gives me plenty of range to lower the sight to the other distances, which will become important a little bit later when you start sighting in all of your distances. The HHA comes with extra tapes, and the setup tape comes installed on it when you open it up out of the box. Follow the instructions, use the setup tape, and it'll tell you which yardage tape. You know, when you land on a particular number, it'll tell you which yardage tape that you need to stick on your secondary wheel so that you have the right yardage. So I'm going to mount this up. I'm setting this up for my son Leo, and I'm going to put it on his hunting bow. And I'm going to set this up on his bow, and I'm going to show you how to set it up and make sure that it's level, because a lot of guys have trouble because their sights aren't level, and they tend to walk off target left and right, left or right, if their sight is out of plumb, and as they go down the bar it goes more and more left or more and more right. Okay, so I'll show you how to level all that up to make sure that it's good. So I'll take this off. Let me get the bow. This is a Hoyt Eclipse, and I picked it for my son Leo because it's perfect for youth draw lengths. It maxes out at 60 pounds, and I actually hunt with one too. But why do I hunt with a kid bow? Because it's the lightest bow they have in the lineup. It's like 2 3/4 pounds, you know, stripped, and my Eclipse, all set up, rigged out, ready to hunt, is lighter than most bows as they come out of the box. It's under 4 pounds, completely rigged out. I don't shoot deer, you know, with anything over 60 pounds, so I don't need anything like super big and heavy. So here we go. I'm gonna put this on. And the bow mounted quiver, if you're gonna use a bow mounted quiver, it'll bolt right here. So that's pretty adaptable. And if you have quiver interference problems because of the knob, they have a straight screw that conceals down inside of this. That is, that part right there will bolt right in there, and you'll have to use an Allen wrench to take your bow apart. I'm just going to use this because we don't use bow mounted quivers. So this will be just fine for what it is that we're doing. So, step 1 complete. I got this installed. We've already installed the scope. That's ready to go. Press the button. Yeah, it's operational. Everything works. And I have it facing right-handed properly, so good for me. I got that set up correctly the first time through. And then I'm just going to mount it on the bow. Let me get the... It's kind of hard to find the little detent here. I'm just going to snug it up right there. So I'm going to mount this on the bow, and I'm going to pull my bow press in the way, and to use my little bow mounting, my little bow leveling device, and I'll show you how to do that. I've already got the bow pre-mounted in my jig, but I'm going to show you how I level everything to the jig so that I make sure that everything that I do to the sight is correct. So the first thing is I make sure that my jig holder that is holding the bow, that has to be level. When I do the first axis move, this has to be level so that it stays level when I tilt it over for first axis. So first, I've got this little OMP level here. You can buy these anywhere. And it's a little bit out of level, so I'm going to get my Allen wrench here and loosen it up. And then I'm going to level the bow. I'm going to level the bowstring to the earth, like so. I'm going to just make sure that I spend a half a second here and make sure that that's precisely done. All right, we're right there. This is already level. Now the bow is level vertically. The bowstring is level vertically. So now I'm going to level the sight to the bowstring. So that leveling action happens right here through these 2 holes right there. Okay. And what I'll do is I'm going to clamp a Hamskea level right on the sight up here. And as you would expect, the level is level already on this part here. But if you look here, let me turn it on so you can see. Let's see. So I got it on here so you can see. You see that the sight itself is out of level even though the sight bar is level. So what I'm going to do is loosen up these 2 screws right here on the front of the mount and adjust the level of the scope so that it is level to the bowstring. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to need this size maybe. I really should have got my glasses for this. So I'll loosen that and loosen this one. And you see, now that I have it loose, you see that I can change the bubble position right there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Allen wrench in that bottom hole, and I'm going to level it up, glance over at my bow level. Let's see, I may have bumped that just a tad. Let me work that just a hair. There we go. So I got the bow precisely level. Now I'm holding the sight or the scope level. I'll snug that and then snug the top one in place. Snug, snug, done. That's all level, ready to go. Now, if you shoot uphill or downhill, when you raise the bow or lower the bow, the third axis also needs to be level, and the third axis is this range right here, right? The scope has to be exactly perpendicular to the path of the string, and if it's out of tilt like this, when I point it uphill, as you would see, the bubble would go that way. So I have to make sure that it's exactly perpendicular. And the way that I do that is I'll get my Allen wrench here. Let's see, what size is that? Nope, not that one. I need this one. And I got this little special jig here that I just undo that and tilt the bow forward, and presto changeo, it's already good. It's already good. So I don't really have to move anything, but I'm going to show you what you would do if it was out of level, okay? So if it's out of level, you would tip it down and you would note that the level traveled one direction or another. And right on the top of the bar here, if you loosen this up just a hair, and then there's a screw in the side that you can tighten down or back it off a little, and that'll change the angle of the sight bar. And by changing the angle of the sight bar, you'll make that perpendicular. But this came factory fresh, just it's level, thank goodness, saved us a bunch of time, and it's good to go. So I'm just going to snug this stuff down and just make sure that it's all set while it's in the jig, just to make sure that we're all set and done, and we're good. This thing's level, it's ready to sight in and hunt. You'll sight in using your setup tape. Then your setup tape, per the instructions in the box, your setup tape will indicate which yardage tape that you need to stick on the sight. And as you see, it's pretty much a no-brainer setting this sight up with an ULTRAVIEW scope. Everything is made to just mount right on, and it's nothing to it, and you're ready to hunt with one of the best hunting scopes out there. So if you want to take lessons with me, you go to improvemyarchery.com. Even if you live in another country or you're on the other side of the earth, you can still take lessons with me, because I do online lessons via Zoom call, or you can set it up if you're passing through Atlanta, or if you live here locally, you can set it up to be in person, and you'll set up at your own time and put yourself on my schedule, and I'll be standing right here waiting on you. We can do everything from set your bow up, check your form, make sure your draw length is right, work on mental game, the whole bit. So whatever you need, I can help you with it. ImproveMyArchery.com.